Good morning, everybody. Justin Coffey here with ADVMoto. I am in Borrego Springs, California to test ride the new Ducati Multistrada V4. This bike has been updated with the new Panigale motor, the V4 motor, which makes a ton of horsepower. It's got all of the rider aids and the suite of electronics that Ducati puts on. We're going to be spending half the day riding on the road, half the day riding off the road, so I'll be able to give you kind of a rundown on how the bike felt in all conditions.
Alright, this is Justin Coffey with ADVMoto. I am here in Borrego Springs, California to test ride the new Ducati Multistrada V4. This is an all-new iteration of the Multistrada for Ducati, a bike that they introduced back in 2003. The biggest changes for the 2021 Multistrada obviously is the V4 motor. An 1158cc liquid-cooled V4 making 170 horsepower. It's got a counter-rotating crankshaft, which was designed to help keep inertia forward on the motorcycle, so that aids in wheelie control. Essentially, it helps keep the front wheel glued to the ground when you're on the pavement. That coupled with the Bosch IMU, Ducati wheelie control, Ducati traction control, lean angle ABS, etc., really makes this motorcycle stick when you are tearing it up in the canyons or on the racetrack, for that matter. 170 horsepower in sport mode. There are 4 riding modes: urban, touring, sport, and enduro. Enduro is their version of like off-road mode. When you put it into enduro mode, it chops the horsepower down to 100. It also allows you to disable the ABS at the rear wheel. For most riders, especially a novice rider, the ABS 1 setting when you're riding in enduro mode is probably great. It really kind of aids in preventing you from sliding the motorcycle, unintentionally. Overall, off-road, the new V4 is a marked improvement over the outgoing 1260 model. There's some big changes here. This is the trellis frame is gone. In place, we've got an aluminum monocoque unit, which Ducati brought in to reduce weight. The V4 motor it's a little bit wider than the V-twin, obviously, but it is actually smaller front to back, top to bottom. So it's a more compact package, which gave the bike a little bit more ground clearance. You've got 7 inches of suspension travel up front and nearly 7 in the rear. And then with the added ground clearance, courtesy of the motor being mounted a little bit higher in the frame, given how small it is, it really makes quite a bit of difference off-road over the 1260. The biggest change, aside from the power plant, honestly, is the wheels. The V4 comes standard in each iteration with a 1917 combo. Previously, in order to have that, you'd have to buy the Enduro model, which carried a lot more fuel. It was a completely different motorcycle, really. And in this case, the standard V4, V4S, and V4 Sport all come with the 1917 combo. You can choose to have cast wheels or tubeless spoke wheels, which is what we're riding with, and you have options in terms of tires, but they outfitted us with the Pirelli Scorpion Rallies for off-road portion of the day, which, if I'm being frank, is not my favorite. But nonetheless, the 1917 combo makes the V4 Multistrada so much better to ride off-road than the 1260 with its 1717 combo. It's a huge difference. The V4 comes in 3 variants for 2021: a standard model, if you will, the S model, which is what we're riding, and then the Sport model. The S and the Sport have all of the rider aids. They also come with the Bosch radar unit, and the radar is something that Ducati and Bosch collabed on. It allows you to have adaptive cruise control, and I guess the easiest way to explain that is that it works just like most modern automobiles. You set your speed, turn on your cruise control, set your speed, and you choose the distance that you want to be from the car or bus or truck or whatever that's out in front of you. So you're doing 80 miles an hour, you come up behind someone doing 60, and the radar measures that distance in time and then slows you down and sets you at a certain distance behind the vehicle in front of you. I will note, this is something Ducati wanted us to mention, was that the Bosch radar system is not quite yet available for the 2021 models. So the 2021 models, will have the radar equipment. They just won't have the software, and you'll have to take it to the dealer. It's $850 to have them install and activate the software, but that $850 is not tacked on to the price of the 2021 models. So it's a wash. They just have to wait for the FCC compliancy to come through, and then they can get the software installed. I can say good things about the Multistrada on pavement all day. I think it's the best sport touring motorcycle on the market. Off-road, with the 1917 combo, it is so much better than the outgoing model with the 17-inch wheels. It tracks really well. My only complaint was, we ended up in some sand washes, and the front end felt pretty heavy, like it kept wanting to dive. I mean, all in all, the V4 power plant is just phenomenal. You can lug the motor all the way up through third gear when you're riding off-road. I mean, it doesn't seem to stutter, low RPMs, third gear, climbing up something because you forgot. It comes equipped with Ducati's quick shifter, which, a lot like all the technology and safety features and stuff, is one of those things, like, until you've ridden with one, I mean, it's pretty awesome to go through the gears that quickly on a motorcycle, and even off-road. I mean, I find myself just kind of clicking my way through the gears without thinking about it. It auto blips on your downshifts. It's just really cool. It's a very, very cool technology, and it's equipped on all of them for 2021. The aesthetics of the Multi have remained the same, essentially. I mean, they really wanted to carry that heritage over. They wanted to make sure that the bike resonated with current and past Multistrada owners, that when you see it, that's a Multistrada. They weren't shy about its sort of bird of prey aesthetic that came along in 2010 when they introduced the 1200 model. You got heated seat, heated grips. You even have a heated passenger seat. So, in terms of touring, if you're going to spend hours and miles on this motorcycle, man, there's no creature comforts that you're missing. That's for sure. Seat height is reasonable. It is also adjustable on the standard model. They have a low and a high seat available. The seat height's a little bit lower than the 1260. I'm 5'9", 160, 165 pounds, depending on how many beers I've had, and it's incredibly easy for me to ride. The ergonomics, both on-road and off-road, are fantastic. Nice wide handlebars, gives you a lot of leverage when you're off-road. It also gives you quite a bit of leverage when you're in the twisties. The bike's narrow at the center, so it's really easy to stand up and squeeze it with your knees. And in terms of, I mean, I'm not leaning over at all when I'm standing up off-road. It feels very comfortable, very confidence-inspiring in regards to its off-road ergonomics. I will say the rear brake pedal's real low, and that's something that you'd want to adjust or let the aftermarket sort out. The cockpit is tremendous. It's got a 6+ inch color TFT display, Bluetooth integration. You can set it up with your phone so that it uses a couple of different Ducati apps. They use Sigic as their navigation software, and it will show you turn-by-turn navigation on the TFT display, which is pretty cool. I've used that technology on other motorcycles, and it's really nice for touring to be able to not have to integrate a GPS into your cockpit somehow. The windscreen is now adjustable with one finger, so you can go up and down just with one finger, whereas before you had to sort of pinch this thing and slide it up and down. Sounds like a small improvement, but it's actually quite nice. I've ridden pretty much every Multistrada to date, and the 1200 makes tremendous horsepower and is a great motorcycle, and the 1260 was a great upgrade to that. But the 950 with its 1917 combo and it's the ergonomics, it felt right for me. This bike, even though it tips the scale at 535, 530 something, it doesn't feel like that. And with the wheel and tire combo that the wheel size combo that they chose, it can do everything that I would want it to do. Maybe save for riding in any kind of deep sand though. So that is something I struggled with. I would say overall great improvements from the engineers at Ducati. They thought it through, they listened. I think that's a huge part. The technology is going to be something that might separate folks. Some people will want it. The IMU and the rider aids are pretty amazing technology, but some people might want to something a little more simple. They definitely make the bike safer and increase your confidence. And from an adventure motorcycle perspective, all of the updates are exactly what we wanted. So if you want to hear more of my thoughts, less of my rambling, jump over to adventuremotorcycle.com. You can read my complete review there. There's photos and all the specs that you could want. So yeah, thanks again. This is Justin Coffey, ADVMoto. We'll catch you guys next time.